Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 20th episode of Tapped In with Tony. Tonight's guest is a two-sport athlete, commit to the University of Illinois for football, Collin Dixon. Collin, thank you for joining me.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Not a problem, man. You're going to be committed to Illinois. You're going to be leaving soon, and
Yeah.
you had a great year. You had a great career, as
Thank
a
you.
matter of fact, for Tallmadge.
Thank you.
No problem. When did you first start playing football? That's my first question.
Yeah, I've been playing football since really I can remember. I think I was five or six.
No,
Just
gotcha.
flagging and then progressed throughout all the way up to where I am now.
Gotcha. And what did you play wide receiver when you were coming up through the ranks?
No, growing up, I always played running back.
Wow.
And then my freshman year, I started to play receiver.
Okay. So you and I'm guessing you and quarterback Ty Hurst kind of had that connection way as you guys are coming up.
Yeah, we did. He's been my best friend my whole life, so.
It's amazing. He's your good best friend off the field, and you guys are like I'd say Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison on the field. I've probably asked this question before, and I'll ask it to you. I know you guys it was a rebuilding year your freshman year, and Ty got some starts freshman year. How did you guys work? How much did you guys work at in the off season before the pandemic came? Because I know you guys are in a really great place now.
Yeah, we worked a lot. We knew freshman year wasn't going to be like as great as what we wanted it to be. So I think our class really took it as to be the class that kind of turns it around at Tallmadge and starts to win some games. So we worked really hard before COVID, and then everything got shut down. But I think this summer going into our sophomore year, kind of stuff started to get looser, restrictions got looser, and everything opened back up. We started to work really hard again because we wanted to be well, this year we wanted to win more games, but we wanted to be the team that we turned out to be this year.
Gotcha. And speaking of your sophomore year, I believe you guys came from down 30-0 to win a game at the end of your sophomore year. Tell me how that went.
Yeah, Coventry. That was a real memorable game because we the night we played them, it was raining, thundering, so the game actually got postponed and we were down. I forget the exact score. I think we were down a couple touchdowns. So Saturday morning, we had to get on a bus and go back to Coventry, and we ended up coming back and winning in double or triple overtime. So wow. that was probably one of the most fun wins of my career at Tallmadge.
Looks like you guys built up quite a bit of momentum because after you guys had a bit of an earlier playoff exit, but you guys finished the season with some huge wins to probably build some momentum.
Yeah, it definitely did. We finished that season really strong.
It's awesome. And when did you start getting college looks, and how did you navigate the whole college recruiting process?
A couple weeks into junior year is when Central Michigan offered me, and then I got two more during the season, and then after seasons when the rest of them came. And navigating it was just kind of like building relationships and talking to some guys I knew from other schools that were that went through the same thing. And that was really how I navigated it. And then just keeping in contact with those coaches and seeing who really wanted me and who was just kind of there.
Got it. And going into your junior year, where you guys qualified for the postseason, tell me how big that was. Because you guys had rebuilt from a 1-9 record in 2019. I believe you were 4-5 in 2020, and now you are playoff bound in 2021.
Yeah, that was huge for us because that kind of showed that we were on the right path, the path that we were all working for, and what we knew we were capable of. I don't think many other people thought we were capable of it because that year was really the first year that we became the upperclassmen. Our team was really young sophomore year because I think 20-something of the starters we had were all sophomores or younger. So that was the year that we were juniors. We'd had the year of varsity football under our belt, and we kind of showed people like what we knew we were capable of.
And you guys had even though you guys had a tough loss at Steubenville, how was it like in the build up going to before the playoff game and having to make that, I believe, hour and a half drive out there? How do you guys stay focused and locked in before games like that?
Yeah, a lot of it was I we were a real loose team, so the bus rides and stuff were really loose, but then as we got closer to the game, we started to lock in more. But that whole experience was fun because Steubenville's got a great atmosphere. They're like there's no track on the field, so the stands are right on top of you, and they're really a football town, so you feel it when you go down there.
It's a great environment. I definitely hope to take a trip someday to cover a game there. It's a bit
Yeah,
of a trek out there.
yeah, it is.
And you guys, what would you say? You guys played in the Suburban League American Division. Who would you say was the toughest opponent you faced in your high school career on the football side?
Highland.
Yeah,
Highland's really good. They got good players and they're really well coached and they're deep. So they got a
got
lot of guys over there.
them and Aurora are definitely, I'd say definitely them, Aurora, Talmadge are definitely one, two, three.
Yeah.
Guys got the great wide receiver, QB wide receiver connection. Aurora always has had good teams year in and year out. And also Barberton. Barberton's
Yeah,
also made
Barber's good.
the playoffs quite a bit.
Hmm.
Now, going into your senior year, you don't have to comment on this if you don't feel comfortable. You committed to Wisconsin, and then you decommitted and you opened up your recruiting. Tell me how that process went initially.
Yeah, that process was kind of difficult because my final two schools were always Illinois or Wisconsin. So in the summer, I picked Wisconsin. I took an official visit there, and then I ended up picking them. But then, middle of their year, the whole coaching change happens, and I really wasn't comfortable going to a place that didn't have a set future at that time. And then when I decommitted, Illinois was always my like they were 1A, 1B. So you really couldn't go wrong. And Coach Belima, he has a lot of success as a head coach, and especially in the Big Ten, he does. And I really loved it there. And I have a great relationship with the wide receivers coach, Coach McDonald, and they we picked up right where we left off. Like when I decommitted, it was still the same. When I committed to Wisconsin, there was no like bridges burned or anything like that. And it's a great place, and I'm excited to get there later this month.
Gotcha. And what are you looking forward to the most before you set foot on University of Illinois campus? Because their football team is definitely on the upswing. I believe they
Yeah.
made a bowl game last year.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting around the guys and like learning a lot from them because there's a lot of great coaches there, but there's also most of the players are like good guys that are willing to work with you and learn just how they do it and how they've gotten to where they got.
Awesome, awesome. And I know you also played in the North South Football Classic a
Mhm.
couple weeks ago. How'd you feel when you found out you were selected for this for this prestigious event?
Yeah, it was really cool because they promote it well as the longest running All-Star game, and all the top guys are there. There was a bunch of other collegiate athletes there, so it was really fun to compete with all those guys and get to know some guys that you didn't know that you played against.
Gotcha. What did you guys do during leading up to it? I know that they practiced before the game itself, and obviously got to know one another. And you and Ty both got to connect one more time, like you did at Talmadge.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot of practice. The practices were mostly just getting the playbook because it's a whole new playbook that you gotta learn. It was pretty basic, but it was still a lot of time doing that. And then the other time in practice, we were just competing one on ones, team sessions, going up against the smaller North school or North team, excuse me. And then outside of that, it was really just hanging out with the guys. There were a lot of guys that we played against that were there, and even some guys that we didn't play against that we got to know.
Gotcha. And talk to me about your senior year with football. You guys made the playoffs and you beat VASJ, and you had a bit of a tough game against Ursuline. So recap the season, if you will.
Yeah, I think the season was really good. Obviously, we wanted to go farther into the playoffs, but looking back on it, I think we accomplished almost everything that we wanted to leading into it. We wanted to have the home playoff game. We wanted to win the Suburban League, which we competed for. We didn't win it, but we competed for that. And then winning that home playoff game was huge. 'Cause I don't know the exact date, but it had been a while since we had the last home playoff game.
Wow. You guys picked up a huge dub, and especially in Region 9, where that region is a
Yeah, it's
grind.
tough. Yeah.
Ursuline, eventual state champion Canfield, Aurora, CVCA, etc., etc.
Yeah, right.
And you also played basketball as well, right?
hmm Yeah.
What was your favorite moment? Did you play basketball all 4 years?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Okay. What were some of your favorite moments from your basketball career?
Um, junior year is probably the year that sticks out most because we started out pretty poorly, but then because with the COVID, like kids sitting out, so some games we'd have 7 guys, other games we'd have the other 8, and but I think we finally all got back together and got on the same page, and then we ended up winning a couple playoff games. So that's probably the year that sticks out the most. That was probably the most fun year we had.
Gotcha. And you and Ty Hurst also played, and you guys also competed in the suburban as well.
Yeah, yeah, we did. We were hoping to win it this year, but stuff
Gotcha.
happens, and yeah.
Gotcha. What would you say is some of your favorite moments from, say, football, basketball in general?
Favorite moments. Number one is definitely winning the playoff game.
Okay.
Um, this past year, and a couple of the others would be beating Barberton, because their head coach used to be on our staff, and it had been a while since we beat them, so that was kind of like a prove it game for us. Like, because we lost our other 2 big in league games this past year to Highland and Aurora, so beating Barberton was big for us.
Gotcha. Anything from basketball stand out?
Yeah, we um making it to the district semis last year. I
Okay.
love that the most.
You guys played in a bracket with Glenville,
Yeah.
CVCA with Darren Peterson.
hmm
That had to be really fun.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
And well, Colin, thank you for coming on the show. And if you got any advice you would like to give or anything you want to plug, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I don't really have anything. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. For those of you listening on Spotify, you can download and sub to the podcast Tapped In with Tony. And you can, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And Colin, once again, thank you for coming on the show.
Yep, thanks for having me.